at Barstool in different environments. Like, that happens all the time. And you're just like,
you got the guy who owns the place saying that to you
on the first tee, basically being like, you're a liar. You're not as good as you say you are. You can't handle the pressure. You're a loser.
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. Final show of the year, 2023 is about to conclude. We did it. The next time you hear our voices will be Thursday, January 4th. January 4th will be the next time. So this is going to be a fun show. We're going to go through a bunch of stuff that happened in 2023. We're going to make predictions for 2024. But we did it. Christmas has happened at this point. New Year's is the only thing. And then we just hammer right away. We've got a huge start to 2024 that we've talked about. We've teased quite a bit on this show. But probably some of the biggest videos we've ever done will be coming out early next year. So we're just going to be right back into it. So nice little vacation here, a little chill stretch, and then hit the ground running. But I was going through kind of accumulating a list of things that occurred during 2023, both just in the golf world and our world. You forget about a lot of stuff, but a pretty eventful year.
Yeah, right off the rip, I just want to look at the schedule real quick. You kind of tease big videos, and I'm seeing January 5th, Riggs versus Frankie in the Dominican Republic. It's a big video, just 1v1, and then Francis also was playing along. So it's actually 1v1v1, but that's a great video. And then it's Tiger Woods on Wednesday, December 10th. So January 10th. So it's Friday, January 5th, 1v1v1, and then Wednesday, January 10th, Tiger Woods video with Foreplay comes out. If that doesn't get your fucking juices flowing, nothing does, man. You want to talk about all these pills you could take and all these things that you can do? That'll just get you going right now.
It's got me going. I know what the whole thing is. I've seen the whole thing already. I know I was there. I was literally saw it with my own two eyeballs. And I can't believe.
And I know we've been teasing it a lot. And we've been saying like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. And everyone's like, it's not going to be the greatest thing ever. The more that we've said that and the more that we've told people, like we've kind of just like let people know, it's almost like hiding a secret. It's like someone's pregnant or something. And you're like, you got to tell someone, right? And you're just like, you're throwing out little, oh, like, did you hear what we did? Oh, no, you can't tell anyone, but this is what happened. Every single person that we've told has gone crazy. We were sitting around the fire with the good guys, and their producers legitimately got up from the table and walked around as if they had heard like the craziest. They're like, that's going to do 20 million views over the next couple of years on YouTube. Like that's just going to dominate YouTube, that video. So yeah, we've got a winner in the holster. We've got an absolute fucking bazooka gun just waiting. We're putting out videos from the Dominican Republic, and we've got all these things from the Bahamas. And it's just like, it's all just in preparation for January 10th. That's it. That's what it is. You know, it's all cute and fun games, trying to release videos at 7:00. Like it's all games until Tiger Woods video drops. You know what I mean? That's just a winner. And if it's not a winner, I'm quitting. There's nothing else you could do.
You either keep going or you stop.
Yeah, I think we quit. I think we all quit if that's not a banger.
No, I look, like I said, I was there. I was all hyped up. I will say that, like, I think this is a clinic in what, like tampering expectations. I think we're doing the exact opposite, which I want people to be hyped up. But I think there's a lesson in, like, you really don't. You just kind of let it speak for itself. The video is unbelievable.
Sucks. Video's fucking horrible. So
fine. It's a fine video.
We're gonna put it out on January 10th. Watch it if you want, but it's horrible.
It's an unbelievable start to the year. It really is.
The worst thing I've ever seen.
Agree with that.
Tiger Woods did something he's never done in a video before ever in our video. So yeah, it sucked. It was like the worst thing ever. Don't even watch it. Don't even talk about it. Don't say it to your friends.
I'm not saying it sucks. I'm saying, I just think that's.
I'm with you. I know what you're saying.
I know what you're saying.
Wait till we're there.
I just need this thing to get out already. It's like if it would have just came out, I wouldn't have been talking about it. We've been sitting on this thing for a month.
It's tough. It's very difficult to sit on a video like that. It's already been like a month, it feels like, and we've still got almost a month to go until that bad boy comes out. But it is a hot start to the year. Our presenting sponsor for this entire year, Chevrolet, the bow tie iconic, means a lot to us to have that name attached to this name, to this brand. So we thank you, Chevrolet. We thank you for existing. We thank you for innovating into the electric vehicle game. And we thank you for supporting the fellas here at the Foreplay Golf Podcast. Go to Chevy.com/electric if you would like to learn more, which you should. And even if you just go on that link, you're going to look at some of these electric vehicles that they've whipped up, that they've put on their site there. And you're going to be blown away at how sexy they look, how they're mixed with all the iconic brands and models that Chevy has been building and dominating and putting out there on the streets for decades and decades. They've been making vehicles for 100 years. They've been making electric vehicles for over 10 years. And we thank Chevy very much for existing.
This is our post-Christmas episode. Hopefully somebody got a Chevy EV with a big bow in their driveway.
God, wow.
Somebody get
those commercials.
So hopefully somebody woke up Christmas morning, opened the blinds in their living room, and there was a Chevy out in the driveway with a big old bow on the top of it. I hope that happened for somebody out there, because
if that
these cars
did happen,
are incredible.
send that to us.
What?
I want to see it. Send that to us.
I want to see it. I always want to see a car with a big bow on it. Send us the videos and the pictures of it. It'd be beautiful.
We'd love to see that. You'd also love to see, even if they don't have a bow, because that's on Chevy.com/electric. So send us one that has a bow. Go check out a bunch of ones that you can acquire. Put your own bow on it if you would like to, including the bow tie at Chevy.com/electric. Just to start off, I mean, we kind of go through maybe twice a year. We have like a Barstool meeting in which they talk about the brands and the future and what we need to do better and what we're doing a great job of. And our crew gets shouted out pretty much every time for putting out just more videos at Barstool than anyone, and it's not even close. From the daily stuff that we do, whether it's us playing holes, whether it's the Daily 9, to the highly produced stuff from Breaking 90 to Travel Series to Scrambles to 9 in Mine, Fixing Frankie. So many series that we put out. And then on top of that, different video series that we're a part of that aren't even necessarily exclusively for our channel, from Ryder Cup and all that stuff. Our guys just put out literally thousands of videos go out from the Foreplay accounts throughout the entire year. And now that we're kind of at the end, we're trying to wrap the whole thing up, finish it off. Just a huge shout out to our guys. And we talk about them quite a bit, but our editors behind the scenes, getting everything out. And the fact that they are insanely well produced with drone footage and different audio tracks and insane graphics and funny ideas with graphics and editing tools that they use and put in there. It's really quite amazing how much goes out from our accounts in a video driven world, that we're kind of leading the charge when it comes to putting videos out, how many videos we put out. So yeah, an insane year in 2023 with how many videos that we put out throughout the year.
Yeah, it's an outrageous number. And it's just
so
nonstop. It's like Groundhog's Day for these guys. They finish one video, they got to start the next one. And, at some point they all have to just like take the reins and just do it on their own. And like Kyle Timms has really stepped up, and Jared stepped up. All these guys have just stepped up that probably a year ago, you never would have expected that these guys would have been taking so much work on their plate to be able to like just finish a video on their own. And Brendan takes one final look at it and then they just shoot it out. At some point when you're running as fast and as hard as we are, you just got to just go. And we've kind of thrown these guys into the deep end, and they've really succeeded, I think. And they've made the videos better. Obviously, there's a lot of competition out there, and there's a lot of different forms of golf. We've talked about this, a lot of forms of watching golf, and we've seen it firsthand. The good guys and all these guys that and Micah and Grant, and we've done all these collaborations with them, and they have a different style where it's just like shoot and go, and they get the video out within a week. And our style, unfortunately for our guys, has been like highly produced movies from all these places that are an hour and a half long with 19 fucking different cameras shooting at us, and audio guys. Like all these other brands just use a boom mic, and all the audio is already attached to the file. These guys have a separate audio file for every single thing we say for 6 hours, and they have to go through every single one of that, including the fucking GoPro footage, for 6 straight hours. And it's just it's a lot. It's a lot. We definitely don't make it easy on them, that's for sure. But the product's been great, man. Regardless of numbers, and like obviously things have been looking up for us, and like our bottom line has gotten higher. Like our YouTube videos just do like a certain number now, and that's just because we've been so consistent, and it's been getting better year over year. We get more views, and that's obviously great. But just the actual quality, like we might not be fucking leading the league in all these things, but the quality, I think I would put up against any other brand in the world.
Yeah, and I've been able to
videos
for sure, and I've been able to do stuff, new stuff that wasn't really a thing this time last year with like these social videos, where I basically was like, I came to Brennan and Bush was like, could we do like almost like Tom Rinaldi little like mini essays where I just talk and you guys produce them? And they were like, yeah, that sounds great. And it was like, boom, we started making them. So in addition to all the YouTube stuff, these guys have like helped me basically shift my entire way of communicating from articles to these like little short form videos, and I am completely useless without them. So it's really a family, and I'm enjoying it. It's been a good year.
Yeah, I put on here that Dan has, shifted from basically you've evolved articles into TikToks for the most part, which is, we had early talks about, obviously brought you on because you cover shit that we just don't cover, that we're not that into, like the nuts and bolts, the ins and outs of the PGA Tour week in and week out. Me, Frankie, Trent aren't that crazy into it. Yeah, we obviously talk about the big headlines. We're more into it some weeks than we are others, but in terms of just being finger on the pulse of everything going on in professional golf day in and day out, that's not really us. That's not what we do. Brought you in because you're a young voice journalist in golf that does that incredibly well, but did it in written form. And we talked a lot about like, how can we evolve that? Well, let's try to figure it out. And now, I mean, these short form videos that you put out, that the guys help you with, that go through all kinds of current events topics, from, interminglings between the Saudis and the sports group and the PGA Tour, to like Patrick Reed's latest drama with like his wife and tickets to the it's just a little bit of everything that goes on day in and day out in professional golf. That's something that we didn't have before. And to turn articles into videos is not easy to do. Very, very few people. I think, like I said to you right at the beginning, I was like, no one's ever really done this before, really, in history of golf, that you're going to take like articles, which golf especially was like a written word, article driven professional sport, and put them in, quick hitter social type videos. No one had ever really done that before. And now I think we're doing it insanely well.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been super fun. The numbers tell the story. It's like you can be hard headed and continue to insist on writing and writing and writing, but then you just see that not that many people are seeing it. So who am I to tell people what they want to consume? The numbers are clear. So we're meeting the audience where they are. It's been great. I feel very fortunate.
I thought a lot about the Jon Rahm interview, because I believe there was only one time this entire year that pretty much our whole crew, Dan wasn't there, but myself, Frankie, Trent, and a couple of our producers flew somewhere just for a podcast and a podcast interview. And that was for Jon Rahm. And to think about, we were talking the last couple of weeks about how big he is, about how big of a moment that was, that he jumped from the PGA Tour to live. We've almost never done that ever. And he is such a big name that, not for a YouTube video, not for, a Barstool Classic or a live event that we were doing. It was like for one podcast interview, we all flew out and had an insanely good hour and a half chat with Jon Rahm when he became one of our favorites. So for me, that might have been, in terms of all of the content, one of the bigger highlights of the entire year.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to Jon Rahm's place in the game, really. I mean, there's a select few, I feel like, in the game of golf that we would do that for. And people know the names, but Jon Rahm is certainly one of them. And to have it go so well, I think of all the interviews maybe that we've ever done, that was the one I got the most feedback, even just from people in my life. Or when I was going into the office, people came up to me being like, all I thought Jon Rahm was this hothead on the golf course who is clearly an incredible golfer, but wasn't much more than just a hothead who gets mad and wins a bunch of tournaments. And then you find out he's got this incredible depth and this incredible insights into the game of golf and where it's going and how he feels about it and the legacy and Seve and the history. And he really has a lot of thoughts on all of it. And we covered a lot of ground in an hour and a half with him. And then to have what happened with him a couple weeks ago with him jumping to live, he is, I mean, there's a couple of guys, but he is certainly one of the most interesting men in golf. And to have an interview like that you can go back and watch anytime. Certainly things have changed with him and with the game, but he says things during that interview that you'll be able to listen to in 20 years and be like, wow, that's an interesting way to think about that. So I agree with you. I think that Jon Rahm interview was easily one of the best things we did all year.
Yeah, it was also in the middle of when he had won like 4 tournaments at the beginning of the year. I think it was a month or so before he won the Masters, but at that point he had won 2 or 3 events. He was going to win a couple more pretty in rapid succession. It was like in the middle of that whole stretch from him where he was clearly the best player in the world. He was about to win the Masters tournament. For us to bang that one out, it feels like such a long time ago, but that was a huge highlight. Good social Rob reminded me of a totally different highlight, but Trent on 18 during the Breaking 90 video.
Oh.
I had forgotten how big that was. That was so big that I was like Max Homa was shouting that out. Like everybody was kind of shouting out that clip from you on the 18th hole where your body just froze. You almost went full Tiger Woods, where you stationed, except in golf form. I had completely forgotten about that moment, or that was that year. But that was, in terms of social stuff, that was honestly one of the biggest moments the entire year.
Yeah, that was a big one, unfortunately, and also fortunately for me. You take the good with the bad with that. You have a moment and I remember thinking when it happened, not immediately after, because immediately after, and I've talked about this, I went to Burger King and just ate in my car and was just like, that was the opportunity because I played so well that day. And honestly,
you just
if
like
I make
proper ate your sorrows away.
Oh, dude, just eating chicken fries in my car in my Honda Civic, like just sad. I think, yeah, that's one of those where it's like a bad thing is also turns into kind of a good thing. Max Homa witnessed it, and we talked about it at the U.S. Open, and that blew it up even bigger. Like, if you're going to have a moment like that, it's good to have it on camera, and it's good to have like 600,000 people see it on YouTube. So it was definitely a highlight while also being a low light, but that's kind of what this job is all about.
15, 16, 17 of that round was even more devastating than the 18th hole.
Dude, if I make a 5 on 17, which I easily could have, that round is obviously much, much different. I always go back and think about that 6 instead of the 5. And it would have made
really
all
the really short par 4, I'm pretty sure you made a double on that as well. Like the drivable par 4 that Colonial now, it's their 7th hole, I think. They're redoing right now, actually, probably because you messed it up so bad that they're like, we have to change the architecture of this thing. But yeah, that whole round was like, we're still fucking doing breaking 90. Like that's something that's going to live in 2024. We're having massive conversations about how we have to just get that thing up and running again. So it's like, because of that moment, yeah, it was a huge viral moment, but we're still living in that world. Yes, it's a 2023 highlight, but that is yet to end. So yeah. I don't want people to think that we forgot about it. We are thinking about it. We've just had so many damn videos to film, so many damn things to do. Like we just got done talking about how our editors are they're stockpiled until the end of January already with videos that we have in the holster. And Trent has not broken 90. We've played rounds. He still has not shot in the 80s. He has not played 18 holes and shot in the 80s yet. So it's still alive.
When did Breaking 90 start? When did it officially start?
Would have been.
So we did a lot of episodes of Breaking 90, I feel like.
We have. So I broke 100 in July of 2021.
And then there was a little bit of a hiatus, right?
Well, yeah, just because once the weather goes, stop laughing, dude. Once the weather goes in the Northeast, we kind of left it alone. And then I think I want to say like March of 2022.
June 2nd was episode 1 of Breaking 90.
But we went and saw Tillery again, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, it's been going for a year and a half, basically. Breaking 90. Which, what do you guys think in terms of a timeline for that score? Like, breaking 100 is one thing, and that took a while too. But we ended up getting it done. But to jump down from breaking 100 to breaking 90 is a pretty big leap. So I'm wondering, do you guys think I'm on the correct timeline, or am I taking too long?
We did 15 attempts. I think we had official 15 videos of breaking 90. I think it was.
Wow, that's actually more than I would have thought.
I would say if it was like you were going to the range every single day and then playing 9 holes every day and then like trying to break it once a week on video, that would be a long time. But I think people probably overestimate, like there's time you're in, like at this point, especially since Dave's back and now it's winter, like you're in the office 5 days a week. You're not like practicing really very frequently. There's stretches where you don't practice at all and play it all and then just try to go break it. So I think shaving really 15 to 18 strokes from the beginning of the entire series, right? Like shooting 105 to 110 to now trying to shoot 89 is, I don't think you're that far off. I do think like July of 2021 to December Christmas.
It's a stunning number. You're going to lose some people saying that it's not a long time. It's a long time.
I think it's a long time.
It is a long time.
I wish you played more. I wish you
play a lot of
golf.
We play a lot of golf. We're going to lose some people where you're like, we haven't had chances to do it. We've played the most golf of anyone that anyone watches that's listening to the show. Like people like,
but we play a lot. That doesn't, but like, I think playing a lot doesn't mean you're just going to shave 10 strokes. Like I think you have to like work on stuff to shave 10 strokes from like, you know what I mean? From breaking 100 to breaking 90.
We've gotten pretty close. I want to say that
the
too.
The series 92 is about shaving strokes. You like went and saw coaches like John like that's like the series. You know what I mean? That's not like we're just going out there and looking at the birds.
But it's not like we haven't gotten close. Like if I were still 98, 99, like that was all of the rounds, then I think that I agree. But it's 92, 93 a couple of times. Listen, if it's taken a long time, it is what it is, but it's been hard. Yeah.
It has been hard, and I do think that we don't benefit from the fact that every time that you are playing decently well, we're doing these other types of videos where like we're doing alternate shots or scrambles or whatever. Like when we go on these trips and we finally get together and we play a ton of golf on these trips, we'll play 5-6 times in a row. We'll be hitting the range in the morning. Like you can start to get into a rhythm. We never film a breaking 90 at that point. We've never done that once. So that like. I do think that a lot of people see all these videos coming out and they're like, how has he not done it yet? But like, we're not even attempting them at the times that you're playing a lot of golf. It seems like it's like the afterthought of like, all right, we finished all of our videos. Now let's go do a breaking 90. And then like at that point, you hadn't played for like a month. Like right now, if we tried to do one today, if we tried to squeeze one out during the winter, you like wouldn't have played your own ball in like, I don't know, 2 months. Like when's the last time you played your own ball 18 holes? Honestly, Aaron Hills. That was 3 months ago.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was
September,
the last time.
right?
I'd have to think about it.
I really don't think
then too.
I don't think you've played your own ball 18 holes since September.
And it is interesting because when we do these videos, like Garrett the whole time is like, how is this guy not broken 90? Because you're just hitting it really good. But it's such a difference between hitting really good shots pretty consistently in a scramble format and like putting your ball in the hole less than 90 times, shots. It's just very different.
Well, the pressure is very different. I feel very comfortable in these scrambles that we do and even these alternate shots that we do because it's just like it's not all on me. And then when I play my ball, I mean, I felt great at Aaron Hills. I shot a 96 at Aaron Hills with a 9 on the 9th hole.
Yeah.
I was playing
short
great.
par 3. Yeah.
I was playing great. Yeah, it was par 3. I was playing great then. The pressure is just different with breaking 90. But yeah, that series will continue in 2024.
Got to have the best headphones, whether you got the earbuds or whether you've got the actual over-the-head headphones. You got to have the best ones today. It's just, it's a miss, man. It's a miss not to. It's a miss not to have the highest quality because we just are listening to stuff. That's what we're doing. Even if we're just scrolling through TikTok, you're listening to stuff. If you're at the airport, if you're traveling, even if you're at home, you don't want to be waking everybody else up or bothering everybody else. You got to have headphones in today's world, even if you're on a work call, whatever it might be. You got to have headphones, and you might as well have the best ones. Our friends at Techniques are making the best ones.
Super comfortable, incredible technology. I mean, ever since I've had these on, I charge them at night right here in my podcast station. I come here, perfectly connect to my laptop, my phone, my iPad. Everything's already connected. It's amazing. It's totally changed the game for me. They're so comfortable. I can hear so much better than I've been able to hear all year. I was using the worst headphones of all time. You just got to invest in the audio experience. You really do. I think a lot of people sleep on it.
No pun intended there. No ear fatigue, which is huge. You don't rate that enough. You don't think about that enough. Advanced Fit Ergonomics is what they've got. So you can wear the earbuds that I've got, which are the AZ80. You can wear the A800 headphones that Frankie likes to rock. That earbuds will be in there securely, comfortably over long stretches of time, whether all day at the office or 18 holes. State-of-the-art, industry-leading noise canceling, shuts out all the noise that distracts you from staying on top of your game. Shop for Techniques True Wireless AZ80 earbuds or A800 headphones at Techniques.com. Foreplay listeners get 10% off your purchase on earbuds, headphones, and more. Just go to us at technics.com/foreplay. That's techniques.com/foreplay.
It is true though how much less pressure there is. Like I remember we were kicking around the idea of doing a major with good, but it was like blowing 35, and so we were looking at the forecast the whole week, being like, oh god, like we're gonna have to play ball and hole with ocean everywhere, and it's blowing 35. And they're like, oh, we're gonna do this challenge and that challenge, and you just feel a massive weight off your shoulders.
Oh, dude, I said to the good guys when they were still kicking around the idea of doing a major, I was like, what's the biggest number your fans have seen on your channel? Because your boy's about to blow that out of the water.
Yeah,
with
you're
the
gonna
conditions, with where I'm playing, how I'm playing, I'll put up a 135 and people won't know what to do with me.
Yeah. Dude, playing your own ball when you do a lot of these like different formats, we really don't do it that often anymore. We don't play 18 holes. It's really just like when you get together with your friends and like you play like a non-filming round at this point. We've really changed our style of filming. Like even I'll always say, like, I'll play with my buddies, we'll play on the weekends, and I'll be like, I don't know where my game is at right now. Like we're playing a bunch of alternate shots and we're doing a bunch of like wacky videos where like, yeah, you hit the ball well and you hit the range and we're doing a video on the range, but like, I don't know. I haven't chipped the ball near a pin and tried to make a par putt. Like I haven't done that in a month. And there's a way bigger difference. We play like an arcadey version of golf now. And it's really impressive when you watch some of these guys be able to step up like a Grant or a Micah, and they still have their game like perfectly dialed in.
Yeah,
that's the most impressive part to me because it's hard to fucking score.
I put it on the other side of that coin. I put on our highlights just Frankie's golf game. I think it's like amazing where Frankie's golf game's at compared to 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Like I think every video we do, you pretty much hit the thing so damn consistently. And some videos we have done in the last couple months, it's like you've posted damn good scores. Like like very, very solid scores. So I was thinking back to like there were horror days not that long ago when it was like the whole world's laughing at you. It's like you could chip the ball 15 times around a green and literally not be able to post a score despite the fact that you got a great swing. And that stuff like doesn't even really creep into my brain anymore around the greens for you. Like we all have our moments here and there, but for the most part, I just thought like your game has traveled too. I feel like we've gone different places. So as much if we're gonna make a highlight, Trent's maybe 18th hole, the whole thing. I just think your game and the fixing Frankie thing, like it pretty much worked. I feel like
I wish I was around for when you sucked.
Oh, it was bad, man.
Just a different.
It was like hard to watch.
You had a different energy.
It was hard to watch. It really was.
Were you always like solid tee to green, and then it was just around the greens, or was your tee to green also all over the place?
It was a little more erratic. I feel like I'm definitely more consistent now. But the around the greens was legitimately a horror show. It was 80 yards and in. Couldn't even think about getting the ball up in the air. Just like blading them 120 yards.
It was wild. Like playing matches against him was wild because he would have stretches where he hits it tee to green really, really solidly, and like we didn't even care. Like, because we just, if you're playing a match against him, like, it doesn't matter. Like, when he gets within 50 yards of the green, he can't finish. Like, it didn't matter. It just didn't matter.
I can't even get myself back in that mindset because I feel like it'll unlock something again.
True,
like, I've just completely blacked that out. But
okay.
Just the consistency. Obviously, Colonial's been a huge help with that. We're just like hitting balls a lot, going in little short ranges, tripping balls, just like hitting balls has been the biggest thing for me. And we always used to do it. We have a fucking golf podcast. We do golf for a living. And I never really put any attention into like trying to get better. It's just like we always used to say, one of our big things on the podcast, we would say, you can't get better by just playing. Like you're just going to keep getting worse if you're compounding on bad mistakes. At some point, you have to put some effort into like trying to get better. And I feel like a year and a half ago, whatever it was, when I met Dr. Brett McCabe, it's like, let's actually try and fix something. And I still have yet to do that with my putting. I'm still going out there every single day when we play golf, and I'm like still on thin ice when it comes to putting. I still don't truly know what I'm doing. It's still like, and I can say that with 100% confidence that I do not know what I'm doing on the greens. And that's like a scary place to still be. And that's, I think, what's holding me back from the next step. Like I'm hitting the ball tee to green as good as I can fucking hit it right now. And I cannot put the ball in the hole. I'm 3-putt bogeying. I'm missing 5-foot birdies, like back to back to back holes. And I'm like walking away with 3 pars. And I'm like, fuck, I could have been 3 under to start this round. Instead, I'm even. And then I bogey. And now it's like, fuck, now I'm going to shoot an 81. And I would have taken that a year ago for sure. But it's like, it's right there. Work on it. Like, I'm going to work on it, man. I just don't know how. Putting's so fucking hard to like overhaul.
I would always say that to Lurch, like that I believe that he just fundamentally didn't know how to putt. Because he would have those stretches where he would miss so many putts. I'd be like, you're similar to it. It's like you have a good stroke. Like nobody shits on your putting stroke. Nobody, it's like you look like you're pretty good over it. Like you're gonna make it.
I think I need to putt righty.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something you would actually do?
I have such a better stroke righty, and it comes off the club way more straight to my brain and my eyes whenever I knock one in opposite hand. If I do like if I like cross hand grip it and I kind of just like stroke it right to left for me instead of left to right, it's always like, wow, something felt right there. And obviously it's like foreign because I never do it, but something feels structurally and like in my brain correct.
Have you ever tried right hand low
as a lefty?
Yeah.
No, I've never tried that.
Maybe give that a shot. People do that. That's a thing that people
it'd be great for everything that we do if you play lefty and start putting right-handed. I'm into
Brock Nelson, American hero, good guy, plays hard, loves the game. Warren, Minnesota, plays lefty, putts righty. Lights out righty.
Imagine
Do
you
it.
start putting righty and you become scratch, and we're just like, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened.
I'm a dominant right-handed person. I text with my right hand. I eat with my right hand. I jerk off with my right hand. I do everything right-handed. I don't do anything left-handed. My left hand is legitimately nothing. It's weak. It's got no skill in it, right? Like it's got
How
nothing.
are you a
So
lefty golfer?
I have no idea. So just a lefty baseball hitter. It's just what I did. My dad's all fucked up. He is a left-handed person that swings everything righty. So like he just, for some reason, my dad got his wires crossed. He
Something
just
in
didn't
the
know to
genes.
keep it. He didn't know to keep it just like pure. And I just think there's something about when I look at the ball and I putt on the right side, it goes more where I think it's going to go, if that makes sense. There's something about like the dominant eye is over the ball. It just like when it goes off the club, it's like, oh yeah, that's where it's supposed to go.
No, it's a real thing. You need to be able to see a straight putt. And if you can't see a straight putt putting lefty, then that might be something that you want to explore.
I do. All right. So that is what I feel. I can't see a straight putt lefty, and I
got a lesson from Steven Sweeney, who's a putting coach for like a bunch of tour guys, and that was the thing. He's basically, my eyes were too far inside the ball, blah blah blah. He was like, "Can you see a straight putt?" I was like, "Absolutely not." And then he adjusted my stance and so I could finally, like, my eyes could see where a straight putt's going to go. So it's definitely a real thing.
I know. I tried to do that with Trevor Immelman and fixing Frankie, and it worked for that day. But it's like when you're putting with a Masters champion, you're going to drain a lot of putts. You're just going to figure out a way to make putts go in the hole.
It's also worth it just for the video. Like, imagine we just put out one video where, all right, Frankie's going to putt righty this entire round, and we're going to see what he shoots.
I would love that. Yeah, I'm going to try that.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, I just have to practice. I just got to practice that.
Anyways, I think your game was great. I'm very impressed with your golf game. It's hard to turn that shit around. Korn Ferry Tour broadcast. Maybe the most fun thing that we did throughout the whole year, or at least up there with, there were nerves going in. We spoke a lot about it at the time, but the amount of nerves, the amount of uncertainty, that was something we kind of circled on our calendar of like, that could end our entire brand. Like, we know we can do a podcast. We know we can fly to some course and make funny videos of us hitting shitty golf shots. But man, to put on 3 hours a day of live golf coverage, it's something that is very meaningful, so meaningful that it's a Korn Ferry Tour broadcast. And then once we got into the groove of it, Kirk Francis joining us, this crew out there, I just thought that could not have possibly gone better. I thought it was insanely fun to do. I thought the feedback from the entire thing was amazing. And that's something that, like, even if we never do anything like that again, the fact that we'll be able to kind of hang our hat on putting on a Korn Ferry Tour broadcast for 4 straight days, 3 hours a day, I thought that was incredible.
The thing I was the most nervous about that I did not think was going to work. And so it's just almost like, don't listen to me about anything like that, because I was so nervous about it. Like you said, I mean, we get nervous about a lot of things. I get nervous when I'm doing Breaking 90. I get nervous when we go on any video shoot because you want everything to go well. That was one where I just didn't see the path. I really didn't. I was like, we're idiots. We're fucking idiots. And they're going to put us on a broadcast. We had the great Brant Packer who helped us and held our hand the whole way through it. So he was amazing. But you've just got this collection of idiots. And I know people will say that, and it's like, yeah, we kind of know what we're doing. That one didn't have a clue how it was going to go. But yeah, once you get into the groove of it, the guys were great. The Korn Ferry guys were great. The players were great. Yeah, I think that was a huge success. But I was the one thing where I did not think it was going to go well.
The one thing I think about from that week the most often is when Brant was unbelievable and he kept us on the rails. But when he was trying to tell us to say a moment ago, we were like, we're not going to say it, Brant. We're just not going to say it. That was super fun. And the relationships we built that week with the Korn Ferry Tour guys, who are now, a lot of them are going to be playing on the PGA Tour. The Jake Knapps of the world, the Chris Goddard, Trace Crow finished second in Q School yesterday. He got his PGA Tour card. Yeah, I look back on that week very, very fondly.
Yeah, that also really showed me, and I know that we are we're probably like a rated R podcast, with just the way that we let it fly, with the way we talk. It's probably not suitable for children, but that's where I really realized I just cannot wrangle this language thing in. Like, I tried my hardest. You know, Brant was like, you just can't curse on here. We're just trying to keep these like relationships nice and clean. You got a lot of things going on with the Korn Ferry Tour, PGA Tour. They're going to want to put these clips out, so just don't curse. And I realized that every time I tried to passionately talk about something when I was out there on the golf course, I threw in the most hard F-bombs you've ever heard in your life. Like, there was one that a guy that we had just talked about not cursing in the truck right before we went out there. And the first time they cut to me, someone hit like a flop shot over a bunker. And I was like, Frankie, what'd you see out there? I'm like, this fucking guy. You wouldn't believe this fucking shot that he just hit. It's unfucking believable. And they're like, oh, all right, like we'll cut to rigs in the booth. Oh fuck, you kidding me? So yeah, that was a real eye opener for me, but a very fun experience, that's for sure.
It was. Yeah, I remember Kirk called me a pussy at one point during the broadcast. I think that was the
right.
part that they liked.
I threw him
the
under
least.
the bus.
Yep, that's right. So there was
we were all talking about cursing afterwards, and they're like, "Well, like we just have to keep it to a minimum." I'm like, "Well, Kirk fucking said the word pussy," and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Him and Jake Marsh got into it a couple times. It was certainly a golf broadcast unlike any before it, or probably in the future. But yeah, that was really fun. I'm glad we.
It was fun seeing one of those like big lead or one of those articles about Barstool that was actually positive. There was one that was like everyone's loving the PGA Tour, or the Barstool's broadcast of the Korn Ferry Tour, and there was like all these tweets. It was nice. It felt really good.
It was.
It did feel nice.
Yeah, that's very rare. Merchandise that we had at the events, I think that was pretty surreal for us. Just having merch. We started out, the first one that we had was, I think, the Phoenix Open, and just Trent and I legitimately paid our own way to go to the Phoenix Open like 6 years ago, when we were basically being threatened by Dave to like cuck our entire brand with Caleb and Roan, because we were getting into it with him about getting bounties put on our heads about golf and all kinds of different stuff. So me and Trent flew out there, went to the event ourselves, put out a bunch of social stuff, and for us to come full circle 5-6 years later and have our own merchandise in the tent, literally in the tent with the Phoenix Open, this silhouette of the 16th hole grandstand combined with our logo was insanely cool. And then we had Players Championship stuff, which couldn't have turned out better. And we had a bunch. We had Zurich Classic, we had Tour Championship. I think we had some in Minnesota, and then we did the majors, the PGA Championship. We did the Ryder Cup. So having co-branded merchandise, that all kind of started in the Ryder Cup when me and Trent got yelled at by Dave in 2016, I think. And we put out our first T-shirt, the American guys. It was Patrick Reed and Jordan Spieth, of all people. That was like our first golf T-shirt, I think, that we ever pretty much put out. And so again, to come 7 years later, I guess at this point, and have stuff in the tent at the Phoenix Open, the fact that it's sold out in like 2 or 3 days and then sold out again at the Players Championship. The fact that our merchandise, when it comes to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we lead the league. I think Dave with his Michigan shirt was up there, and Dave might have taken the crown, but he said of all the brands that are out there, I think we led the league in merch sales. So obviously a big thank you to everybody who buys stuff, but pretty wild to think about where our merchandise has come.
Listen, I don't know where this world is going to go in terms of golf content, golf merchandise. It's clearly becoming a thing that more people want to do inside the company, outside the company. Everybody kind of wants a piece of it. I will say it's been very cool to be the quote unquote alternative golf brand that has done a couple of firsts. The Korn Ferry one was very, very cool for us. And that goes along with the co-branded merchandise with the PGA Tour. Like you go in those setups at those tournaments, and it's Nike, and it's Adidas, and it's Peter Millar, and it's all these huge brands, and then just somewhere in the middle there's a little thing that says Barstool Golf on it. Like that's super, super cool. And I don't know who's going to enter the space, what's going to happen, where it's going to go in the future. Seems like it's all going to get bigger. I really hope that we are a part of it, and I think we will be a part of it. But I do know that these firsts that we have been able to accomplish, those have been really, really cool. And I'm very proud of us for those, and I think we're going to do more of them. But I do want to just take a second and be like, it's very cool that we were able to do these things. It really is.
Yeah. And like you said, like paved the way, really. And like our team behind the scenes, Quinn and our whole merch team that figured out how to like actually make this a legitimate thing. Like obviously that's a dream for us to be in a merch tent, a dream that we didn't even know that we had. Like it's something that wasn't even attainable. Like you said, you got to be a legitimate merchandise company to sell merchandise at a fucking major. Are you like or at the Ryder Cup or at the Players Championship, like the premier event of the PGA Tour? And for us to have one of the biggest setups inside there, for them to take that risk on us, have it sell out by like Wednesday. Tommy Fleetwood's asking for a hoodie. We've got Callum Tarrant hitting his shot on 17. Like it's all of it is just so surreal. Yeah. And I'm sure there's going to be other groups that are in there now, and like they're going to see the success that came from this, but you're always going to remember your first. And there's always going to be that moment where it's like, we got that text saying, here's the collaborations we're working on this year, and here are the ones that we're going to be in, and like our group text being like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Like that
the PGA Championship one was insane. That was the one. I think that was probably the first major. I think it was.
Yeah.
Where it was like that. I mean, the waste management, that's kind of our wheelhouse that we're like, yeah, it makes a ton of sense to do there. And then for the PGA of America to be like, all right, since you guys did that, we saw what you guys were able to do. Now let's do it at a major. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really
just one of those moves that like the competition looks at and they're like, how the fuck are those guys doing that right now? That was like, we had a couple of those moments this year where it's like, at least we still got that in the holster. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like we're still pulling out those types of moves where no matter what's going on in the world, like you said, we're still putting out things that like people can't believe it's happening.
And on that, the video game, the fact that we're in PGA Tour 2K,
crazy.
Talk about first, like the fact that we just do a golf podcast, we end up in a video game with 2K and everything they've done, and it's been a year and a little over a year since we were in that truck getting our heads scanned 87 different ways with different cameras, and then you appear in the game, and how much we really do just look like us and are out there in that video game. People play with us. We still get tweets every week of people shooting this, score with us or that score with us or whatever. That part's surreal as well. So the video game, the fact that happened this year, it all just kind of gets lost when you look at it at the end. But that was part of this season, 2023, which is just another first for us and people that kind of do what we do. So, so big thanks to them taking a leap of faith and putting us in a video game.
That was a surreal one for sure. That was probably the most surreal one when that came out. We're still in the video game. I just played the other day. Right. I had a bunch of friends over and I just had the Xbox on the TV and someone's like, oh, you want to play NHL or whatever? And I was just like, I got PGA Tour 2K23 and I clicked on it and I was in the game and we were just playing with my character. And it was like,
that's just me.
At one point someone said this is fucking crazy, by the way. It just looks just like us, and we're in there.
And we didn't.
I do hole-in-one streams still, and I use my character.
We did nothing in the traditional sense to be in a video game. We're not professional golfers.
No.
We didn't take the normal route where it's, oh wow, there's Tiger Woods, there's Colin Morikawa. Like those guys became professional golfers, and then 2K was like, do you want to be in our video game? What we did, I don't even know why we're in there, but I am very appreciative that we are.
Dude Perfect's in there. I don't know if
Nate Shot's in there.
Nade shots in there. So that's good on 2K, honestly, for really taking that risk and doing that, because that's really cool. It feels like that didn't happen. It feels like that's not real. That's a very bizarre one that we're in that game. And I'm very grateful for it. I'm actually going to do a hole-in-one challenge, hopefully tomorrow, maybe. I think it was going to be tomorrow. But I just love playing that game. The fact that we're in it is nuts.
The Ryder Cup, where we kind of got everybody down to Mid Pines, where we filmed all of that, and the 4 versus 5 debate that came from that, which shout out to Francis, that is still breaking his brain. There's so many videos that we're in now where we're filming and we're on a green and someone does something on a green and he just looks at us and goes well, that's Kirk would have lost his mind there. We said, well, yeah, Kirk is clearly using the strictest version of the rules imaginable to get in your head and try to gain an advantage. This is a totally different environment. We're here to have a good time. But the 4 versus 5 debate, those videos blowing up as much as they did, doing it right before the actual Ryder Cup, that was kind of an insane, hotly contested series that we did relatively not last minute. We kind of planned it, I feel like, a year in event, but nobody really knew it was coming. It's unlike anything that we'd ever done before. We got all the personalities involved that aren't ever in golf videos with us. And then it delivered. People, when they were there, wanted to win. We spoke a lot about it on this show and all of our programs about how you cannot really recreate the feeling that you get being an athlete and having a chance to win for your school, for your team, for your travel team, whatever. And then that's kind of just gone forever and you're chasing it forever. That was about as nerve-wracking and as intense and as badly as I've wanted to win anything. And the fact that everybody kind of felt that way and we were able to come as close as you possibly can to recreating a Ryder Cup, a legitimate, fiery team contest. That was a pretty wild thing.
Yeah. I remember telling Kirk, all of this is sucking our own dick and we're just talking about our year, but it's just what you do with a recap. But I remember, and this is going to sound insane to people they're going to think I'm very, very, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I looked at Kirk at one point and I said, I don't know how much more nervous you could be in the real Ryder Cup when I was on that last hole. I said, I don't know how much more your body, I meant. Obviously the meaning and what it all means is not even on the same in the same stratosphere. It's not in the same level. But I said, I just don't know how much more And maybe people can relate to this, like coming down the last hole of like your big member guest or a big tournament that you've played in, where like your whole life comes down to that last swing. When Dave Portnoy was standing behind me and I had to hit the ball straight and in the air and forward, I don't know that my body could physically get more nervous, or else I'd just be dead. My heart would have exploded through my fucking neck and out of my mouth.
Right. Like if we placed you on the first tee in Rome, are you more nervous there?
I just think my body physically couldn't have gotten more nervous. Like,
I know what you mean.
The stakes and all of that for sure means more wherever you place them. But if you create that stakes in your brain, however you want to make them, you can make yourself as nervous as anything just playing in your backyard if you really want to. Like I agree. It depends on how passionate you are about something. And I was passionate about hitting that ball forward, and I barely did. I popped it up in the air. I like freaked out. My brain almost went into like fucking default mode where it just like it stopped thinking about everything because it knew it was about to explode. Then me and Kirk's like, I agree. He goes, I don't know that they have to hit shots under more pressure than us. He's like, and it sounds insane. It sounds so removed from reality, but that's how important that felt to us in that little moment. That's how important that felt.
That was my biggest welcome to Barstool moment, because I kind of, I can kind of do my own thing, right? Like I live in LA now. Like I only really interact with the foreplay guys. I didn't grow up in this Barstool universe, and you guys are definitely like Barstool, but not as, we have a pretty buttoned up operation. That week was the biggest reminder of like, okay, this is a little bit different than Golf Digest was. Like people are going to say shit to you that in other respects of life aren't necessarily okay to say, but you can't react because that's going to make everything worse. I just remember that week being like, okay, this is different.
Well, just know it's a good point that nobody, not just in a professional sense, but no one would ever talk to you the way that people talk to each other publicly at Barstool, and especially in that Ryder Cup environment. Like never. Like no one would ever just be like, you're a fucking pussy that can't handle the pressure here, you little bitch. Like no one would ever say that to you ever. Yeah. And like
it was wild.
At Barstool, in different environments, like, that happens all the time. And you're just like,
you got the guy who owns the place saying that to you
on the first tee, basically being like, you're a liar. You're not as good as you say you are. You can't handle the pressure. You're a loser.
Everything that comes after what Dave says in my brain results in you're going back to the pizzeria and you're never allowed to do this again.
Yep.
Like, I always think that that's going to be the end point. So whenever he says anything to me, that's where I think the result is heading. And maybe that's on me. Maybe that's just the way that we've been so sheltered and like wanting to keep this job and like, you want to do the right thing and like you work really hard and like it could be taken away from you at any moment. I always thought that like, if I don't hit this fairway, my job's over. And if I don't fucking make this happen, the job's over and I'm just done. No more talking about golf for a living. It's over. That's the fear.
And there's been a lot of controversy, like a little bit of controversy about the golf at Barstool and all that. But this in particular, this is like the power of getting everyone together. You just saw it with Surviving Barstool. Barstool it's still that machine of personalities where there's so many different types of people at this company who will say and do anything at any given time. And when you bring all of those people together, regardless of the context, let it be the Ryder Cup or Surviving Barstool, you could put us anywhere doing anything, mini golf or whatever, and it's going to be incredible content. That was a takeaway for me too, where it's like, this is still the greatest place to work because we still come out with the craziest, most outrageous content because we have the craziest, most outrageous people. And when you bring them all together, it's magic.
I mean, Rico Bosco asking for a caddy fee. It's just like,
magic.
It's just like, what's going on?
Rico Bosco buying fans and ice only for his team and making sure that only his team uses it. Like, and Dave getting in his head about like, oh, you're leaving early. Why are you not sticking around for the whole thing? And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And to be able to be a part of it we're very lucky.
It also was a big moment I keep dropping my phone. I have this list that you sent us and I keep looking at it and my phone, it just won't. It was a big moment for us that like they were all going into our world also. Like this is like that was that's the foreplay Barstool golf. Like this is a golf competition. Our guys are going to be filming it and editing it. And there was just a lot of like nerves surrounding Dave entering our world and thinking like it was worth the time of us doing like it was a big moment for golf at Barstool to be like, oh yeah, this fucking works, man. Those videos probably crushed more than any video on Barstool YouTube aside from Surviving Barstool that we had all year.
You're bringing Big Cat and Dave Portnoy to a location to shoot golf videos. You better make sure it's worth it. You better make sure
Right.
it's real. You better make
Right.
sure you got everything in order, because if it's a disaster, they're going to be like, you just wasted the time of the two biggest internet personalities that exist. And
Oh,
we're
yeah.
never doing this again. So you guys blew it. But instead, it was the opposite, and it went incredibly, incredibly well.
It did, and there was, I remember Dave when he got there, he didn't really know what we were doing.
God, it was rocky
And
stuff.
that's-
Why are we? He's like, why are we doing a practice round? Like, is this like, you guys think this is real golf? Like, what are you guys actually doing? And we're here to film a video. We're like, no, if we take it seriously, it's going to work. I'm telling you.
So that part was incredibly nerve-wracking out of the gate, and then him during it being like, I'm having a very good time. This is awesome. And him being really into it and caring about who won and using all the strategy, even throwing away matches, which essentially throws away an entire video because he wanted his team to have a chance to win at the end. That was just...
Shout out to us. If I'm not mistaken, we were all like, the last day, the captains were picking, these are my guys who I want to play, and they are going to try to lead us to victory. I think we were all involved in that.
That's
The,
right.
we were.
the turnaround from Francis's game at the Ryder Cup, where he was a shell of a human being, a broken man, to the Dominican Republic was astounding.
Oh,
Right. The
It's
fact,
just-
like, it's very controversial that Dave picked me to be in that role. Like, it's very much,
that was a
you watch-
controversial pick.
Yeah, you watch Francis now, and it wouldn't even be a contest. But Francis at the time, and he came up to me during the round, and he was like, the things that you're doing right now, I would not be able to do. So it was the right pick.
And it goes to show you how every person is more or less than any other person, like, susceptible to emotions affecting your ability to perform. And Francis, God love him, which is what makes him so beautiful in content, is insanely susceptible to that. When he's in a good mood and the environment's perfect, he's like a 3 handicap. And when he is in an environment where he's insanely uncomfortable and Kirk has sort of melted his brain down and made him a shell of what he was like a 25 handicap that week and couldn't really hit the golf ball. And that, God bless him, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's up and down out there. It's what makes him amazing in the videos. But looking back on that, it is very funny because, yeah, people are going to see, like, his game can be insanely good, like very, very, very solid. And that week, Kirk just broke him, and he didn't really have it. But yeah, the Ryder Cup, I mean, I was just kind of scrolling through really quickly. That was all had 500,000+ views for each one of those videos. There's 400,000, 500,000, 600,000 views on those videos. So those did insanely well. But that was unlike anything we've ever done before. So that was kind of another first. We were getting everybody together, people that don't typically play golf, and everybody embracing it. Have you found any subscriptions you forgot about, or any you paid for twice and did not realize it? I'm sure you have. We've all been there before. It's infuriating. Makes you very insecure about how tight your finances are. What you actually signed up for that you don't realize that you're going to pay for over and over and over again. Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. No more long hold times or annoying emails with customer service. We've all been there. That part stinks. Rocket Money does all the work for you. Rocket Money can even negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is take a picture of your bill. Rocket Money takes care of the rest. One of the most crucial apps on all of our phones.
Also tracks everything you buy. So Rocket Money is actually a big reason. I've been making coffee at home a lot more. Usually I just buy coffee from the coffee place on the way. When I'm going to the train, I'm like, I'm going to stop by here. I'm going to spend $5 on a coffee. Instead, I just make it at home, and all those expenses go down. You can like, if you buy from Starbucks or Dunkin' or whatever, you can type that in and it'll be like, this is how much you spent this month, this year on coffee. And the number is going to stun you. But if you make it at home, you cut that cost all the way out, and now you got money to burn on other things. So Rocket Money has motivated me to change my spending habits.
With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/4. That's rocketmoney.com/4. rocketmoney.com/4. I still got a handful more from 2023, but I think those are kind of the biggest highlights. And I really want to get to 2024 predictions because it's always fun. There's a lot of, I think this is going to spark people's brains in terms of the things that are kind of coming, the things that are currently existing in golf that are going to continue to play out through next year. So I'm going to start with the first one is very simple. we've kind of talked about it already at times, but how many starts do we think Tiger Woods will make in the season 2024? And I'm not going to include the PNC or the Hero. I'm talking like from January 1st when Kevin Kisner is the announcer at the Century Tournament of Champions, which he's not going to be able to play because he didn't win last year, till like the Tour Championship.
I'll go with 5. I think he'll play the 4 majors and Genesis. I can't, the Players is always one that we talked about this where is Tiger going to play the Players? He hasn't played the Players in like 4 years since he won the Masters. Just feels like it's a month before Augusta. I feel like he's going to want to ramp up. I'll go 5.
I'm going 7.
Wow.
I don't think I don't think it's that crazy.
7.
I don't think it's that crazy.
Well, dude.
What
He's gonna play all the
tournament?
majors. He's gonna play the Players.
All of them, dude. He's playing all
He's
the
gonna
time.
play Riviera, and he's gonna throw like a Memorial in. There's gonna be like another one that he just throws in there. The guy is so fucking healthy, man. He said that
He is
after he
healthy.
played at the Hero, he like worked out the next day and then got ready for the PNC, and he walked at the PNC, and he was just like, "I'm fucking ready to go." Like I
do think about what Dan, you've tweeted this, I feel like a couple times, but I agree with you every time I see it, where it's like, why didn't we just do this surgery before this? I mean, the way he looked at Augusta last year to the way he looks now, it's a different person.
Stunning, man.
It's a different person.
He's gonna limp for sure because that's just how limping works. I'm pretty sure his like foot's like a millimeter shorter now because
it's
his
short.
leg it's a shorter leg, so he's like physically has to limp. But I think we are never gonna see him in that debilitating pain again that we saw him at Augusta last year. I think that is gone. And if it happens again, I think his career is over. But I think he now is walking forward, no pun intended, knowing that he will be 100% be able to finish these rounds of golf.
I'm going 7 as well. I think it's going to be the 4 majors. It's going to be the Genesis, maybe the Players or Bay Hill. And then I agree. I think he might put in the Memorial. He's always like that. He might do a final push if he plays well in those other events to try to get into a playoff event or something and play something crazy like the Wyndham. He might go over to Europe early and play in like the Scottish Open a week before. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I think he's going to be feeling really healthy. I think he's going to make 7. He's going to make 7 starts.
I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to go 6. I think it's majors. I do think he could play in the Players. I think it's a really good chance. And then, the Genesis feels like a no-brainer that he's going to play.
Where is the Open this year?
Troon, Scotland.
What's that course like in terms of topography?
Was that no? Was Turnberry Tom Watson?
Yeah, Turnberry's out of it because it's Trump now. They're out of the road.
That's right. All right. Next one. 2024 predictions rolls on. Will a live player play in a PGA Tour event in 2024?
Oof. Like a current live player? Because there is a guy, Bernd Wiesberger, who's back on the DP World Tour after playing live. So that's sort of a trick answer.
Yeah, but is he eligible for the PGA Tour? There's no way.
You're saying like the co-sanctioned events that they have and stuff?
Can he play in a PGA? Because you said he's DP World Tour now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like 1 year after your last live event. It comes down to whether they do this deal, and I'm becoming more and more. You think the Saudis are going to want to play second fiddle to these American private equity companies?
No.
I just can't really see it happening right now.
No, and I think and we talked about it last show, I think the reaction from the Saudis, if they do a deal with the American equity companies, is going to be substantial. And it's just going to be, they're going to be like, we're going to try to pull every single player away from the PGA Tour. Every single one of them. We're going to offer as much as we have to get as many players as we can to try to make the PGA Tour irrelevant. They're already doing that, but I think if they make a deal with somebody that they don't want them to make a deal with, I think it gets so much worse.
There's a level, right, where it tips. And we sort of debated this a couple weeks ago, but there is a level where it's just, okay, I'm not watching the PGA Tour now, I'm watching live because it has just switched. And would that level be like, if Rory McIlroy goes at this point, is it over? Like, is it just, it's tipped? Who would have to go? Would it be Justin Thomas and Scotty? Would it be just Rory? Like who? And I know we're leaving out Tiger Woods, but he's so uncertain with how much he plays. But like, would it? Where does it tip at this point?
Rory
Has it
or
already
Spieth.
tipped?
I think Rory or Spieth would be, if they have Rahm and Rory and Brooks. Yeah, that's when it starts to get. But just because the guys who are left, there's great players. They're just the personalities, and we have to remember that zooming out, that's important, just as much important to the general person as the world rankings. These guys care about who do they know, what names do they know, and those are the names that they know.
I think if they got JT and Spieth, I think it's over.
Yeah, like if I only have one TV and it's Sunday afternoon and there's the Phoenix Open going on and then there's a live event going on and the live event has all those guys we just mentioned and the Phoenix Open has like Russell Henley and like I'm not watching that. I'm watching the
Like
other one. I'm watching the live event.
Imagine a duo press conference with JT and Spieth. These are the best buddies of the PGA Tour that people have been following. There's that old picture of them eating hamburgers, and now there's this new picture of them in live Letterman jackets, arms around each other, being like, "Oh my gosh, this is our new league this is our new tour that we're playing on." That I think is the tipping point for me.
To answer your prediction, I'm going to say no, and I think it's going to be a massive mistake. I think PGA is going to hold to their guns. They're going to be like, "This is our ammunition. It's Russell Henley, and it's these tiny people, Brian Harmon and stuff. That's who we've got now.
A couple cheap shots at Russell.
That's who we've got." And Liv's going to be like, "We're going to keep taking them. We're going to take all of them because they took Jon Rahm, and Jon Rahm. Ever since Jon Rahm went to Live, I feel like we're living in the end game now. That was such a big acquisition, guys, that we're really not talking about it enough. Jon Rahm is no longer on the PGA Tour. The guy that we just said was our biggest moment of 2023. We went out there and fucking interviewed him. We flew for like 30 hours just to fucking interview that guy for an hour. He's no longer in these tournaments. He also is going to bring so many people over to Live. It's going to make your head spin, I think, over this next year.
Players, you mean?
Players.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just we don't even know the format changes that he insisted upon when signing. You know what I'm saying?
Taylor
like
Gooch said that there's 72 holes is one of them. That there's a
so this segment, is what I'm saying. Like there's changes. There's changes coming. And whatever number they say Live is what? What's Live again? 50. It's how many? What is
48?
LIV?
But they could go up to 60.
Oh wait. Oh, you're saying about number of people?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that.
That number is like fake. Like they could just make it 100 if they want to. Like we're all like they can only have 62. It's like they could also just like say they have 80 and now
imagine
they have 80.
The number was 48
none of that
and JT and Spieth are 49 and 50. I'm guessing that number's going up.
Who wrote that number? God? Like they could just change that number. Like you know what I'm saying? It's not like they could do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. So I think that the PGA Tour they hold steady and because they have to, and I think that'll be a mistake. Instead of just being like, we succumb to this, we lose. And now you guys just play in our events and everyone's going to be happy. And like, we just figure a schedule out. I don't know. But like, we lose, you win, come play.
I think the answer is no as well. And this is going to lead into, and I want to get everybody's answer, obviously, but it's going to lead into the future of Jay Monahan and how long he's going to be the commissioner of the PGA Tour. Because these are decisions now. You're like, Tiger, I think it was at the Hero, maybe they asked him about it. Didn't give the most glowing review of what Monahan has been up to the last 18 months or so. And now the stuff's coming out about how much money he's making, and that people are obviously going to respond to that being like, this guy is losing the grip of professional golf. How are you paying him whatever 18 million bucks? So my answer to the prediction for will they play on the tour is no. And I do think that should probably lead us into what is Jay Monahan's future.
I also think it's no. And, one of my questions was going to be, is Jay Monahan still a commissioner of the PGA Tour at the end of 2024? The reason I think Jay Monahan is still a commissioner and will still remain commissioner for at least the foreseeable future, several months. I mean, I know that's not a crazy long period of time, but till this deal is, I think at this point, he's already so unpopular that it doesn't make any sense for them to replace him and put someone in there because it's such an undesirable position at this point that I think they're almost stuck being like, we got to ride this out with this guy in here that's taking all the heat. He'll make a few more $1 million or 10, 20 more $1 million while he's in it. So he's still in to do it. He's got a losing hand now. So let's let him play that losing hand and take the fall. And we'll try to call a lot of the shots behind the scene. And then once this fucking dust settles, he's obviously out. And then the new person has a chance to actually succeed. Because I think right now you honestly can't. Who the fuck that has a true ambition and desire to be like this great commissioner of the PGA Tour would want to inherit the Jay Monahan situation right now?
This is a prediction that is somewhat informed, not like haven't heard this. I haven't heard this like verbatim. I think that when this new deal, because they're doing a deal, whether it's with the Saudis or not the Saudis, they need money fast. I think the new deal will come with a new commissioner. And I think you're right that Jay Monahan has been basically a pain sponge. Shout out Succession and Tom Williams games.
That's nice.
He's been a pain sponge for the whole last year. I think once this deal is made, once they start PGA Tour Enterprises, once they roll out this new product, whatever it is, I think it's going to have a new face, and I think it's going to be a younger guy. I think they need new energy in there. He has become a sort of a toxic brand.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a question is when do you think the deal is happening? Because if you think the deal is happening in before the end of 2024, then I would say Jay Monahan is out. So
I think it's going to happen sooner. It sounds like they're close with this strategic sports group. It sounds like that's going to happen, and they need money. They need money. Like they've run themselves very thin with legal bills and with all these purses, and they need money.
And we should note that we are recording this on December 19th. This is going to come out on December 28th. And so if there's some editing that has to go on here because something's been announced or whatever, that's because we're recording this on the 19th of December. But
Dan, is there any obvious protege, any obvious like heir waiting, or will it just be like a young corporate guy that does that?
I think it'll be a young corporate guy because basically, like, one of the problems, at least with the players, is they've complained about the bloat in the PGA Tour management and how many VPs there are and how many guys have been there for 25 years who have just been collecting paychecks, not innovating, getting their membership at Pablo Creek, and just being very happy in the Jacksonville area. I think there needs to be like a shakeup because that leadership failed to do one of the most important things that I've talked about. I've been hammering this point. They failed to get control of any of the biggest events in their sport, and that is an unforgivable failure in my opinion.
It's like in The Crown, Frankie, when Tony Blair talks to the Queen about how they got it. I watched like half of the.
They're really
season.
good. It's really good.
How good is The Crown?
It's really good, dude. I gotta get rewatched. Emma and I watched the first two last night. She was like, "Who recommended this?" I was like, "Frankie Borelli." She's like, "Okay, Frankie."
You guys watched the newest
finally
season?
found
We
people to
watched the
talk
newest
to.
season.
I did,
the first two. Yeah.
Frankie, last night was done at like 5 p.m. and I just laid in bed from 5 p.m. until like 11 and probably watched 5 or 6 episodes of the most
How good is
recent
that
season.
Tony Blair guy? Like having to deal with
he's
all that shit. It's like
fantastic. He's fantastic.
Oh,
No,
my
Diana's like
God.
she's like a little minx. She's just like
Oh, yeah.
always like, she's just kind of, she always has her head tilted like this. And she's
the
just always
actress
kind
who
of,
plays Princess Diana puts on probably the best performance of anyone trying to impersonate someone of all time. She literally looks like her at all times.
yeah.
I was stunned at that. I was stunned. I didn't know if they were using like AI or CGI. I didn't know what was going on because she nailed that role. And me and Dan came in completely blind. I haven't watched a second of any of it. And they're in season, like 6 now or 7 or something? So
I might go back and
it is
watch
an
the original
excellent
ones
show.
where the queen takes over when she's just like a 20-year-old girl. It's a fascinating life, the queen that she had. It's a fascinating life. And now I like follow them on social because like I like follow like the royal account on social because like I want to see like that King Charles is just like he's a king now. And it's fucking bizarre. Like his his mistress is the queen. Like Camilla's just like the queen now. They call her Queen Camilla.
Yeah, we looked that up
Unbelievable.
afterwards because they make her out
Unbelievable.
to be like very much a commoner. Like she doesn't have the same accent as them. So Emma looks at her. She's like, "This bitch is the queen now." Like he succeeded in that
Yes.
endeavor. It's crazy.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. But fuck, it is like The Crown.
But that made me think of that day where it's like this bloated. You got all these people with like 20 different titles that are making these paychecks. What the hell are they doing? Like, how can we justify that? But yeah, I don't think Jay will be the commissioner by the end of 2024. I think nobody probably believes that at this point. This bustling holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, flavorful meals to fuel you on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you eat well for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all of your holiday to-dos. We love Factor. Factor's just been a huge addition to our lives. It's a home run.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you order Factor, you can pick out like what type of meals you want. I've been trying to lose a little bit of weight, so I hit keto, and they sent me a bunch of them. And I had this delicious shredded chicken the other night for dinner. You just put it in the microwave for a couple minutes, bang, bang, and you have dinner. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to cook anything. It's right there for you. Throw it in, heat it up, eat it, and I'm healthy. All
What we've
good.
been doing is you take it out, you poke the holes in it, you throw it in the microwave,
Yep.
you take it out, and then you put it in a nice dish, and it's like when Hannah puts it on the table, you can't believe how good the meal looks. You're like, you've
Yeah.
definitely slaved away at this thing for 4 hours to get it to this point. Broccoli and grilled chicken, jalapenos and cauliflower rice, and it was just. I had it last night. We just finished. We had 8 meals: black pepper and sage pork chops. We had peanut butter Buddha bowls. We had spinach and mushroom chicken thighs. The list went on and on and on. They even have dips. You can get dips where you can get like a spinach and artichoke dip.
They have good smoothies too.
They have great smoothies. Oh my god, dude! The
Strawberry banana.
Strawberry banana smoothie was really really good. The peanut butter banana. I'm sorry, the peanut butter chocolate, or was it? Yeah, I think it was peanut butter chocolate protein shake. I had like 3 of them. Unbelievable. And the coffee protein shake was incredible. It was coffee flavor, and I usually don't like coffee. I've crushed them all. Every single thing that was in my refrigerator, I've crushed every single thing that possibly could have gotten sent to me. And we will be re-upping. We will be re-upping with this product because it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's not just for dinner. You can count on extra convenience any time of day with an assortment of 55 plus add-ons to suit various preferences and tastes. Head to factormeals.com/450. Use code 450 to get 50% off. That's code FORE50 at factormeals.com/450 to get 50% off. That's another prediction question is, will Greg Norman still be the CEO or whatever he is of Live Golf at the end of 2024?
Yeah.
I would
Yes.
say yes. He's perfect for
Look
it,
at
right?
that.
He kind of is.
Last Jay, look at that.
I know, dude. Imagine having this conversation a year and a half ago. But yeah, he is.
Crazy.
You know, why would they get rid of him? And I know, well, like, why would they get rid of him? I don't know why they would. The pictures
You're
of him,
wasting a jacked Australian psychopath that's at the helm of this like jock like rogue league that's handing out Letterman jackets to the best players on tour, and they're stealing them. Why would you get rid of that? I mean, that is an ace in the hole, man. You're just holding that guy.
Right. He's enough of a loose cannon where it's a positive, where you just don't know what he's going to say. And he's a great figurehead. Obviously, he's got a history with the PGA Tour and blah, 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 blah. We've talked about that ad nauseum. But no, he's not going anywhere. He was all over Jon Rahm in the introduction pictures. I thought he was going to be like grabbing his ass cheek at one point. So no,
he's hilarious too at this point where he's just he's on like a victory lap.
He's such a villain. He's such a villain. He's great.
Dan, you book Greg Norman. We got to get Greg Norman on this show.
He's been on this show before.
That would not be difficult. That would not be difficult, I don't think.
When he was he was nowhere near the Greg Norman that he is now. When he came into that office, he had such star power. He gave a phenomenal hour and a half interview.
Dude, I have his chief of staff's email that she always was asking us to do stuff last year, and it felt like they were just trying to get us to do things for free and kind of be like, you know, the paid media of like North Korea, essentially, of Live. And we were like, we're not going to fucking do that for nothing. But I mean, we should have this guy on. I always used to be like, no, like we're just not interested right now.
One of the best interviews we've ever done.
I can definitely email. I know who to
everything
email.
with Greg Norman last year felt like it was so calculated to like try and like dig at the PGA Tour. And now at this point, as crazy as it sounds, it feels like they have the upper hand right now in terms of like PR and just
Jon
like
Rahm,
everything that's
once
going
you get
on.
Jon Rahm, you know.
We would be lucky to have him now. Isn't that amazing how crazy
Greg
that
Norman
sucks?
might say no. He'd be like, hey, remember when we were, me specifically, and other people on the podcast just shitting on Liv and being like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. No way they're going to get any big names. They'll get a couple guys that are over the hill, and then they get Jon Rahm and everything. They do have the upper hand right now. Greg Norman might turn this podcast down, and I wouldn't blame him.
They got Cam Smith, Jon Rahm, Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
it's a lineup. It's a hell of a lineup.
Six of the first 10 winners of the PIP. The PIP turned out to be a target list for Liv, and they're just picking them off.
Liv is beating PGA Tour in in a Ryder Cup, right now.
So that's an interesting question. That is an interesting question. I guess the PGA Tour would go Scotty, Rory, Victor Hovland, probably Cantlay, Xander. Yeah. I mean, maybe like Tommy. It's close.
It'd be close.
It'd be
It would
close.
be
It would be
close.
it would be really, really close.
I see that meme everywhere. The
Yeah.
if they did a PGA Tour live, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson,
It's honestly
Ryder
like
Cup
we
would be
talked
the
about,
highest
Dan, a
viewed.
lot about how the Ryder Cup or the PGA Tour doesn't own any of the mate. Like this could be another bold chance for them to be like, we are going to accept and introduce the PGA Tour versus Live. We're doing it
Major.
like, but yeah, we're just doing it. Like people would be so fucking into that. Greg Norman would take that in a heartbeat.
Oh, it's without a doubt the most watched sporting event of 2024 if they do that. Sporting event. I think it's like
Just
bigger than the
lean
Super
into
Bowl.
it. Just lean into
I really
it,
do. I
dude.
think that's bigger than the Super Bowl. If Live and PGA
maybe.
Tour played a 1 week major Ryder Cup on like prime time ABC or something like that, I don't think there's anything that happens next year that's as big as that. I mean, this is a global conversation right now. A global sport
It is.
conversation.
Dude, if they went to like they said we're gonna go to like Pebble Beach and we're doing,
Tiger
we're
versus
doing
Phil, just the
4
whole
day
deal. Oh, God.
Ryder Cup style,
Oh.
Live versus PGA Tour. We're gonna guarantee you Tiger versus Phil will be a Sunday singles match. Like, are you fucking
man.
kidding me?
Yeah, they're both.
They
playing
show up in
captains.
Letterman
They're both
jackets.
They're playing
fucking-
captains. They're playing captains.
Yeah.
PGA Tour shows up in polo. It's like,
Might
it's like
be-
bad versus good.
Might be the only idea that can save Jay Monahan's job at this point. And that still might not be enough, but it would certainly get some juice.
And even if
Just
you
lean
lose
in,
that,
dude.
if you lose that event, you still played ball. It's still like you're part of it. You're still part. Like I don't see it being too much of a negative for either side for doing that. I can only see positives.
Well, you are
Yeah, dude,
swallowing
and-
your pride. It's the first time you're doing it.
They
If
already
you're the
did. He
PGA
sat next to Yasser on the CNBC
True,
and was
true,
like,
true, true,
yeah,
true.
these guys got all the leverage. I'm a little bitch. It's over. We have to do
Yeah,
a deal with
it's
these
over,
guys.
dude.
Like, now just do the fucking event, man, and be like, we're going to go to Live with this, but we're only going to do it if we own 75% of it. We're going to do it every other year. PGA Tour versus Live. Even if Live fails, like, say it that way. And then you create this thing that you now actually own and have, like, like,
Call it like the
fuck,
World
that would
Golf
be a great
Major or
idea.
something. Like just all of the world is involved in this. All leagues.
You got to do something. You're
Call
back
it
into
the
a corner
World
here.
Cup.
There you go.
Sure.
The World Cup of golf.
The World Cup.
All right,
Tour
another
versus
prediction. Do
only
you
tour
think
versus
that
Live.
happens in 2024?
No,
No.
No.
I don't think the PGA Tour would do it because you're right. It would be a sort of like an implicit acknowledgement that they are
Right.
no longer.
Because even with the
You know.
framework, they hid behind PIF, and I know that's like it's semantics. It's definitely semantics, but they can still be like, no, this was with PIF. This has nothing to do with Live. That was like I remember them being upset about the narrative that immediately got shot out. That was like, no, this isn't PGA Tour Live. This is PGA Tour PIF. So if they did this World Cup of golf, that would be the first time when they're like, all right, you guys are clearly on a level where we're going to have a competition with you guys. So be a big step.
It's like in a presidential election, you never want to elevate you never want to elevate your opponent to the level of presidential because you want to appear the only one that's presidential. That's pretty much what they're doing.
That's right.
Do you think Tiger Woods will be on the President's Cup team in 2024?
No,
In what capacity?
Playing on the President's Cup team in 2024.
he'll be given X-rated pump-up speeches for sure. I don't think he'll be playing. No,
I don't think he'll play. I think he would find that to not be fair to the guys that have earned it with like their play over the last couple of years.
What if he has a good fucking year, man?
Yeah, what if he
he's
just wins
out
the
there,
Masters? Yeah,
Like in 2019, everybody it was a little different. It was 5 years ago and he was more health, but he came out, he won the Masters, and then he didn't even play that great like in the rest of the majors and all that, but he picked himself for the playing captain of the team, and then he was sick at the President's Cup. It's like to boost the team and the event, the tour might beg him to be like, dude, can we just pick you for this team so that the ratings will be through the roof so that you play on this fucking President's Cup team?
I hope he plays well enough for it to be a discussion. That would be my hope. But I'm going to
He's
say
going to be
no.
he's probably
I
at
think
that
it just-
time going to be ranked like the 13th best American or at best, right? Like there's no way.
yeah. I
There's
think
no
if he
way.
makes it on points, he would do. I think if he would put the captain in such a tough spot, Yeah. I think he'll probably just be like, I'm not playing. This is for the younger guys.
Dude, it ruins the event if he doesn't play. It's like, dude, think of how much bigger the event is if he plays. So he could just be like, dude, I'll play once Thursday, because I'll play once Thursday, once Friday, once Saturday, once Sunday. I'm not doing any of these 36 whole days. And they'd be like, great, dude, we just need you out there, man.
The event needs it. Yeah.
Yeah, someone like Michael Bamberger wrote an article that the other day that I just read that was like, whatever the PGA Tour needs to do to monetarily incentivize Tiger Woods to play golf is what they should do. He was basically arguing like they should just pay Tiger and no one else to play.
Right. That's that's kind of what I'm saying, dude. Just be like, dude, we need you to save the tour by just taking one of our captain's picks for the President's Cup. Like
We'll fly you
begging you to
everywhere.
take
We'll make it the most pampered experience possible. We'll just fly you in the most comfortable situation every single place. We'll pay you $20 million a tournament just to show up. Like, we need you, pal. We need you.
It is so true, and it's what we've been talking about how they just haven't been able to get the biggest events under their umbrella. Like Tiger's whole comeback is just about playing in those 4 events that aren't even the PGA Tours. It's just those majors.
It's all about the Masters.
Imagine he was like, I'm going to commit myself to 7 PGA Tour events. They'd be like, holy fuck, like we're back, man. This is going to be the biggest year ever. It's going to be the biggest year in 20 years on PGA Tour. We're going to go crazy with this guy. But instead, he's like, I might throw you guys too. I might.
It was.
Maybe.
I mean, it was just a reminder with the PNC and the Hero that their social channels were just all. I mean, they're milking him for it because they know they don't get him very often.
Yeah, and like Dan basically predicted that Tiger like might play one PGA Tour event next year, and this is the guy that's like part of trying to save the PGA Tour. It's like, dude, they need you out there in these fucking events, dude. You're the guy. Like Mike Weir for that President's Cup might be like, dude, Canada will pay you to play for Team USA, and we'll give you a fucking cart. Come on up here, dude. Get your ass to Montreal. Let's go. A new Straight Talk Wireless offering is now available where you can get a Walmart Plus membership included on select Straight Talk Wireless plans for free. Only Straight Talk Wireless gives you unlimited data, talk, and text, plus a Walmart Plus membership included on select plans for free. Some of the perks of Walmart Plus through Select Talk Wireless plans are free delivery from Walmart stores, free shipping, no order minimum, Paramount Plus membership. We like to watch stuff on Paramount Plus, don't we, gentlemen?
We really do. Yeah.
Love it.
Paramount Plus is great.
It's a nice bonus. It's a nice perk. Member prices on fuel, so you're going to save some money on gas. So once again, Straight Talk Wireless, it's available at Walmart and walmart.com. And if you get a new Straight Talk Wireless offering that they've got, you can get a Walmart Plus membership included on select Straight Talk Wireless plans for free. A reminder, they've got unlimited data, talk, and text, plus a Walmart Plus membership included on select plans for free. Straight Talk Wireless available at Walmart and walmart.com. Will Tiger Woods in 2024 be announced as the 2025 U.S. Ryder Cup team captain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beth Page, man, 100%.
Be the biggest miss of all time if he's not.
Oh, biggest miss of all time. It would have to be like because of like he's gonna be announced as the captain.
Yeah,
Half.
I think
Whether
you're
he
right.
takes it or not is another question, but he's obviously gonna.
They got to run it by him, but I know that's who they want.
They just haven't even talked to him, and they just start tweeting out, Tiger Woods has been selected as the captain.
He is
what a
the
life,
guy, man.
What a life he lives. I know we talk about him ad nauseum, and I've been using that a lot recently, clearly. But like, he just has so many. He means so much to everything. The PGA Tour, the Ryder Cup, the President's Cup, like everything is still hinges on him. Everything. Guy can barely walk at one point, and we're still like, this is the guy who, if he enters whatever arena, the Ryder Cup, the President's Cup, the PGA Tour, it's going to change everything drastically. I want to just sit down with him and be like, what is that like? What is that like?
Gotta be
How do you
awful.
handle it?
I think
it's great for us in the world, but it's like I still think it's a horrific investment to like go at. Like,
no, I'm
the
with
fact
you.
that he's the guy that this whole thing hinges upon. It's so fragile.
I'm more interested
it's at the end of this guy's career.
Yeah, I'm more interested in what he thinks about all of it.
He's got to think it's fragile. He's like, if this whole thing is teetering on me, that's a nightmare, man. He's towards the end. He sees the light at some point. It's there. It might not be bright, but he sees it at the end of the tunnel. And he's like, the fact that this whole thing, it's got to be crazy pressure.
It's just a fascinating position.
That's why I think he said he's going to play once a month, is to sort of like boost the PGA Tour's, leverage in the negotiation. He knows his worth.
I can't kick this fucking cough I've got, man. It's just like in my lungs. I might be there for forever.
Might be something called pneumonia.
I think I might just be there forever.
You might want to get a chest X-ray. You might want to get a chest X-ray. It's been like 2 weeks.
I know, dude. It's in there. It's in there, man. It's like I'm wheezing, but I'm not sick anymore.
What does that mean, wheezing? Like when you breathe, you hear it?
It's like it's not a clean breath in. It's just like a there's something stopping it.
Yeah, wheezing doesn't sound good. Wheezing doesn't sound good. Last one I got on here that I'm gonna deliver, and then we can wrap it up. Will Kevin Kisner be on the NBC call for the U.S. Open?
I'll say no. I don't think he's. I think if that's the case, that means he's doing it full time because they're not going to have some fill-in guy for the U.S. Open. I just don't think he's quite ready to like hang it up playing. He's 39, which is old, but he's still got 11 years until he's shit. Like I just he played some solid golf in the fall. I just don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be ready to fully hang it up.
I just don't know that he's going to be able to get into the U.S. Open. And so, therefore, I don't know why he wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
they
he
got
doesn't
a
get
permanent,
in.
wouldn't they have a permanent guy at that point?
Ooh, I don't know. Like, if they're going to do him for the Phoenix Open, but they're going to have a different permanent guy by 2 months after that or 3 months after, it seems, you know what I'm saying? It seems
But
like,
then why would they not just announce him as the permanent guy right now? Because it's like an audition?
Well, because he might not have agreed yet. Like, I'm saying there's a chance he might be, they might still be in limbo of the permanent guy come next summer, hoping that Kiz kind of wants it. He doesn't get into the U.S. Open. He takes that chair, and they're maybe like toying with somebody else. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels like the Phoenix Open would be something you give to somebody who's the most likely guy to be the permanent guy,
Has anyone talked to Kevin Kisner about what his plans are? Is this guy retiring from golf? Like, he's not going to try and play in the U.S. Open? I mean, how many more years does this guy have?
No,
I'd also
I think he's
wanna
going to
ask
try.
him-
I just like he didn't get into the U.S. Open this year, so I just think there's a good chance he doesn't. He just tries but can't get in. It's not the easiest thing.
But is he going to play events to like try and get in? Is this guy going to like attempt to have a full year of golf this year? Or?
I think so. That's my guess. I think he does, but if it doesn't pan out, he's also got like the minute he doesn't qualify for the U.S. Open, they're like, hey, we're going to pay you X amount, and you're on the lead analyst for the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. I think he's like, that's better than me doing nothing that weekend.
Do they run testing in this type of situation where it's like, have you run any test episodes, or do you just that first time Kevin Kisner has ever called golf is going to be the
No, they'll rehearse. They'll rehearse for sure. I remember them talking about with Tony Romo. They did a bunch of rehearsals.
You have to.
You have.
Yeah.
And I would be curious to ask him, how have those gone? Or if you haven't done them yet, when you do them, I would love to know how they go. Because what if he's just great at it, and then he's just like, I'm just going to do this. I'm done playing.
I also feel like knowing Kiz, I don't know how like much he would love that life. That's a shit ton of travel for certain stretches of the year. And like he's calling, like I didn't know that he loved golf that much. Like I know he loves playing golf and beating other people, but I always felt like he was more of like he likes to compete, and he always talks about like how much money he's making and stuff out there, more than being like obsessed with golf like a Max Homa. When Max Homa will go out to Long Island or he'll go out in Scotland and like play North Berwick after his round. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that he was like that obsessed with it.
I mean, I would guess that stretch where he kind of lost it spooked him, where he was just like, whoa. I always thought that I was just going to be a guy who could kind of, finish top 30 in events and make a good living and continue to do that until I turn 50. And then I'm on the Champions Tour, and that's a much simpler life. But then one day or a few months, you kind of lose it in a way that you didn't think was possible. And you're like, all right, maybe I got to start looking at other options.
Just like what drives these guys? He doesn't have to make another dollar for the rest of his life. So it's like, really, like, how does he want to spend his time?
I am always stunned when in any sport, like a Gronkowski jumps back into doing commentary and being a part of the panel. That I would just disappear. And it's different people. They got different motivations, but it's the question that you're asking, Frankie, is what motivates these guys? Is it just being a part of the sport? You want to be involved in it. You don't just want to drop off the face of the earth and you're not even in the conversation anymore. Do you like the camaraderie? You're up there with like Bradshaw and all these different guys where it's like you still feel like you're part of a team to a degree. Like, what does motivate these guys to continue?
It's got to be that, or they
sport?
see like they see the ending of like their potential of making money, and like that's just like one last chance of doing it.
Like, how much money does Gronkowski have?
I don't know.
$200 million.
I think a lot of it is like if you take away the money aspect and you're like, okay, I don't need the money for this. I think these jobs are kind of fun,
Really?
Yeah.
Like if there's no like. If there's no like, oh, I need to do this. If I lose my job, I'm fine. And you're just like shooting the shit with the boys and they're flying you out there first class and like you're on TV and you like the juice. Like That sounds better than just sitting in the backyard and doing nothing. If money's not a
Right.
concern and there's no stress part of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think you got to do something for the most part, especially when you're younger. It's like I think like most people are driven with some sort of purpose. It doesn't have to be the most ambitious thing in the world, but you got to like try to do something, try to be good at something, try to accomplish something in order to enjoy the delicacies of life. And like what these guys know in that case, like the only thing they know professionally is football. That's like what Gronk knows. He's like, what the fuck else am I going to do? Whereas you see like some people go into different businesses that they do invest in. And I'm sure Gronk has people that work for him that invest his money and stuff. But like, he's probably like, fuck, dude, I can get paid a good amount of money and I love football. That's like what my fucking brain knows. I'm just going to do the football talking thing. Like, you know, I think that just kind of happens to him.
It is nice to be good at something and to know a lot about something. It might be as simple as that. Where you're just like,
yeah,
I'm a football guy. I've been playing football my whole life. The thing I've focused on the most by a long shot, and I can still talk about it. I can still be involved in it, and I can still make a shit ton of money being in that world. I guess there's a lot of factors to it, but
I was
I'm always
reading
just
an
interested
article on
What?
Aaron. Sorry. I thought you were finishing there.
No, go ahead.
Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston, No Free Ads, but they started like a tequila company. And I was reading like something that just came across my desk on Twitter yesterday, but basically like they didn't know how to spend their time like after Breaking Bad, and like they don't golf. And they're like, we just decided like we just make like the best like mezcal in the world because like we needed something. We needed to like go to meetings and like see each other, and like they were done with like everything else. Like Breaking Bad's over. They've made all their money. They're just like bored. So they just started a business. And
You need
like that
purpose.
was right.
Yeah.
You need
They're
a
like, if we
purpose.
golfed, we never would have made this tequila ever. But like we don't golf, and like we needed to like see each other and see people. So we just made a mezcal. It made me laugh. I was like, you needed something to do.
Yeah, I mean that's why
Yeah.
guys unretire or they retire and then unretire and they retire and they unretire. It's the other side is it might just be pure boredom.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, we've been home for like a couple, like we're not traveling as much, and it's like boring unless you're like, it's obviously great to
It
be
is.
home and like
It really
like,
is at times.
relaxes you, but like it's just fucking boring, man. And it's just a never ending cycle of like you don't want to travel and you don't want to sit around. You
Yeah.
don't want to travel, you don't want to sit around. Like these
Yep.
guys probably deal with the same shit. Like Kisner's like, there's no fucking way I want to travel the world talking about golf. And then he stops golfing. And he's like, I want to travel the world talking about golf.
Yeah. I think it's as simple as that. But I also like, I struggle to imagine, you know, like when they start the coverage of like the US Open, you know, and the announcers like hype it up, but they're like, it's a beautiful Saturday here. Like, I can't picture Kevin Kisner being like, man, we're here at Pinehurst and what a great day for golf. What are we
Dude,
talking about?
even
He's
that
not
opening
gonna do
shot
that.
where it's like it's going to be obviously all this incredible drone footage of the golf course, and they're like, these guys already teed off, and this is what the leaderboard looks like. And then there's that opening shot of the two guys in the booth, and Kevin Kisner's just going to be sitting there being like, this is fucking crazy out here. This is going to be a great day. It's like, holy shit, man.
With
It's
no
windy as
hat.
fuck out there, boy.
He always looks so weird. He always looks so weird with that hat on. Just sitting there like a comb over. And be like,
I think he's going to be great. I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around it. I really am.
wearing
I
Peter
think
Millar.
He's going to be incredible at like the minute in and minute out part of it, but like the theatrical part of it, he's just not. I don't think he buys into that. He's going to be
It's
like,
gonna be hilarious. It's
what
a
the
must
fuck are you
listen.
guys talking about? Let's just cut to the golf. Jesus. Like, he's just not. Yeah, he's not going to be into that part of it.
I don't even remember what the question was, but yeah.
Yeah, it was if Kiz is going to be on the call for the US Open next year. I hope he's not, because I hope he's playing in it, which would be even better, but you
I
never
hope
know.
he's doing whatever he finds to be the most fun in his life these days.
There you go. That's like when people were like, you know, Tiger Woods is recovery. I really hope he's just happy and having a good time with this kid. It doesn't matter if he wins again. It's like,
That's right. As long as he's playing with Sam and Charlie and
he's
enjoying
kicking a
the
soccer
last
ball
days.
around the backyard. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's just, and if he wins
Beautiful.
a Masters, that'd be
This is,
fucking
hey,
beautiful
you know
too,
what?
you know?
This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
This is what it's all about. Okay?
All right. All right. I honestly, I think that's it. I think that's all I had for today's show.
The Crown. Go back to watching that. Fantastic stuff.
I'm so
Frankie's
bored.
just
I've been watching
desperate
The
for people
Crown.
it's got to have a huge audience, but for whatever reason, the
Huge.
people we encounter do not know about it.
I gotta talk about it.
Do you think that guy Doty is like is he like have charisma? Like I don't really see what she sees in him.
Oh, you're only
Yeah,
two
I just think
episodes
like
in,
if you
I
watch
see.
the, well, yeah, if you watch like the other, obviously you have to watch the other seasons, but like I just think she was so fed up with just like the norm of the world that she was put in. Like she was basically like Rapunzel that they just like stuck inside this tower, and they're like, you're not allowed out there, and you're not allowed to live your life because of like who you are, and like you. Yeah, she was put through like the ringer, man. And I just think she found someone that was like exciting, that had a ton of money, that was like, I'll bring you to this island and these boats, and you won't have to deal with all the bullshit anymore. And she's like, I love that. Like, I'm done with all the fucking. She literally was married to like the future king of England, and she's like, I don't want any of that shit anymore.
Yeah.
We did miss the whole part where they basically had her like in prison and like the
Yeah, I
Got,
missed
like
that
an
part.
eating disorder, bro. That's where you want to
Yeah.
talk about good acting. She was like puking every episode and like forcing herself to puke to like maintain an image, and like crazy.
Yeah, first I
man.
saw her was on a yacht on some private island. I was like, she's got pretty good.
Yeah,
Right.
That I don't know actually at all what you guys are talking about, but I feel like that is a pretty common archetype in a family like that, where there's one who doesn't want any of it, and they're just like, I wish
and
I had
her
a-
husband didn't love her. So it's like, and they
That's
had
unfortunate.
she had to like stay in this marriage for like reasons that make no sense. It's like because the monarchy needs no bullshit and no
Right, I'm-
divorce. And
I'm
it's
trying to
you
think
have
of like who
stay
is the
here.
Game of Thrones character in that position, like Arya probably.
Oh.
Yeah, Arya's like wants to
Yeah.
go do her own thing with the masks and
She
the
just
fighting.
doesn't want to deal with being the daughter of the guy who runs the place. She's like, I just want
There's
to.
probably a better one that we're forgetting of, like someone that was
Probably.
forced to get. I mean, it's like Daenerys Targaryen, like didn't want to like wed and have a baby with that.
Well,
fucking,
Sansa Stark definitely didn't want to do that.
right?
No,
exactly.
she did
Oh,
not
God.
want to do that.
Almost like Sansa, right? That's really all.
Which-
That's really what it is.
I really haven't watched it, but it feels like it's similar to that. I've watched Game of Thrones. I haven't watched
Yeah.
The Crown.
What's the latest with Game of Thrones? Are they rebooting something else? Or no?
Well, the Dragon show is coming back for a second.
And the
season.
Jon Snow show is coming out.
No way.
Okay, that's
Yeah, I think it's called Snow. I think it's like in 2025.
it checks out.
That's a good
I,
one.
I don't know if it's an origin story of him, which it can't be because you kind of saw that in Game of Thrones. I think it's like what happens at the end and after. Well, I'm
When's
like struggling
Dragon
to remember what
returning?
the
Any
fuck
ideas?
happened to Jon Snow at the end.
Well, spoiler alert for who hasn't anybody watched Game of Thrones. 1, 2, 3, 4. He goes beyond the wall with the wildlings, right?
That's right. That's right. So I think that's where it would pick up.
Cool.
I just watched Dumb
House
Money
of-
last night, the
watched
GameStop
that.
movie.
I watched that.
Really
Dave
well
in that?
done. Dave is in that. Dave Portnoy's in that movie.
What?
It's yeah, well they take like his when he like interviewed that guy Vlad, the Robin Hood guy, they like basically take that footage and they take his like CNBC footage of him being like, I need to take a cold shower right now after talking to that guy. But that was
Amazing.
I mean, that happened like 2 years ago, and it feels like I can't believe that happened.
Yeah,
Like
that
that
was
is
a true
such an
moment in time.
interesting, incredible story that like we just ignored because I was just like playing fucking video games and like I saw it on Twitter and I saw it happening and I saw Davey Day Trader and I'm like something's happening, but I didn't actually wrap my head around it. What they did is fucking insane.
Yeah, they took on Wall Street.
Like a Reddit thread
Yeah.
changed the course of Wall Street history. They
Yeah.
like
Right.
they've changed Wall Street forever.
Yeah,
They
said,
basically did
"Fuck
what
the
Wall
man."
Street does to everyone, right? Isn't that like the
Yeah, pretty much.
they basically
They
turned
saw just a bunch of they saw this one fucking Steve Cohen essentially and all of his group were invested in the shorting of this one company and they're like, fuck these guys, everyone on Reddit buy this stock, and then they're fucked because when you short a company you owe endless amount of money.
right.
It's infinite. It just keeps going.
I'm not.
And they're just like Reddit people. Like this guy, whatever, Roaring Kitty, is in his basement, just being like,
It
"I'm
is
gonna
fucking
fucking
hilarious.
make $50 million this month." Like, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Oh, great movie.
This just
really
came across
good.
my desk here, kind of talking what we're talking about. Prince William and Kate Middleton refuse to spend the holidays with Harry and Meghan.
Wow,
Kelly Keegs just blogged that.
interesting, man. Harry
How
and
is
Meghan
their
is
relationship
interesting.
right now?
I don't know. It's
Seems like it's not
I
that
think
good.
it's fucking rocky,
Nice.
man.
Sounds like it's on
I
the
just-
rocks.
I think Harry and Meghan were like, fuck this. And we're going to expose all these things that we don't like about it. And I think that goes against everything that the family has held together. Because obviously there was bullshit for the last 1,000 years of the English, whatever, however long this lineage has gone. there's always been drama, and like Harry's the first, like one of the first ones to be like, I'm not dealing with it anymore. And they're like, you can't do that. Like Williams, like, you think I want to be in this position? Like, you cannot do that. You can't just leave and go to Canada with like your like actress wife that says she didn't know who you were. It's not
everything
allowed
like
anymore.
that. Everything like that ends up being the mob, and you leave the mob, and you start being like, how crazy is this mob and all these things that we were doing? The mob does not like that. And they will do everything they can to make you not do that.
They can't. Like, it's all they
They'll kill you
have
for that. Trent, they'll kill you.
They have to. I mean, they have to stand strong. It's all they've got is like the pact.
Yeah, because what aren't they taking taxpayer money? Isn't that what the whole thing is? Aren't they
That's
just
the whole thing? Yeah. But then, like, you talk to a guy like we've talked to Trotty, and I don't want to put his like beliefs on the royal family on this podcast without really knowing about what he said. But if you guys remember, he said something like local British people love having it because it's like their source of income for like the entire area, right? Like it's what everyone, that's like their thing. It's like the tourism. Everyone comes in, like that's their thing, right? I remember him saying something like that because I thought that he would hate it.
I don't
like,
really remember all the.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't remember, but it's probably true, right? Not even, I'm not saying that's what Trotty feels, but I'm saying what you're saying is probably true.
Just like when you go there, like you buy all like the queen stuff and the king stuff, and you buy the little flags and you visit the palaces, and it's like that's their thing. That's their Times Square. That's what you do. That's their story. That's why you travel
it's true
there.
that they like it. I think it's true that like the English people in general, I think like having the Royals. I think they also times are changing where it's like, all right, we kind of like having the Royals, but also like
how much money are they taking?
Extravagantly taking all of this money so that they can live. But also people draw like inspiration from that, and like they just enjoy following it. And like as crazy as that sounds, people are like, yeah, that's my source of entertainment. Kind of what you're saying of like, I follow this fucking shit. Look at these people. It's crazy.
Also, like every time they have one of those like jubilees, or like when the king just got coronated, there was 1 billion people on the streets like going crazy. So it's like that's also like, yeah, they like this shit. I love all this crown talk, by the way. I've been holding this in for months.
Does Hannah watch it, or do you just watch it?
Yeah, we watched dude. The last episode of The Crown, we were bawling our eyes out on the couch. Bawling. That's a long journey we took. I watched fucking 6 seasons of that shit. Each episode's like an hour long. I mean, you really think about how much hours and time you put into watching the show. At the end, you're like, fuck.
Are there plans to cover the Harry, William drama?
They say that they're done, but I mean, they got pretty damn recent in this last season. I mean, they have like how William and Kate like met and all that. So wow. I was stunned. Yeah, the guy who plays William's a fucking stud. I like that actor. He did a really good job.
He's good.
But yeah,
all right.
Crazy.
What a year. Everybody have a lovely New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And thank you for listening. Thank you for buying our merchandise. Thank you for watching all of our videos. Thank you for coming to the Barstool Classic. We're going to have announcements on the Classic. We're going to have videos rolling out at the beginning of 2024. So enjoy the weekend, enjoy the holiday, and we'll be back next week. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.